Derby County have made an approach for West Bromwich Albion forward Karlan Grant. He's a 27-year-old forward with a contract expiring in 2026. Now, he was capped at youth level for England and is currently valued at €3.5 million on transfer market. Now, this season, he's made 29 appearances, scoring 6 goals and getting 2 assists for West Brom this season. 80% of those 29 appearances have come in the starting 11. Now, obviously, we've just looked at his starting season, and shall we take a look at what Darren Whitcoop actually had to say? Derby have approached West Brom over a loan deal for forward Karlan Grant. Grant is expected to stay put as no replacement has been lined up. I replied with, guessing it's a nothing discussion then, Darren, to which he said, never say never on deadline day. And that is something I completely agree with. Now, over the course of his career, if we look at the Championship on his own, it's made a ton of appearances for a range of different clubs at this level. 208 in the Championship alone. Is one of those versatile forwards that can play left, right and through the middle. He's made majority of his appearances at West Brom, where he's been for, the last 4 seasons maybe, where I think he had a brief loan spell at Cardiff City. He's made 131 appearances for West Brom, 30 goals, 10 assists. Now, for me, I think he'd be an excellent addition to Derby County, especially in that forward line. When you look at the players that we have, obviously Mendes Lang, Tom Barkhazen, Corey Blackett-Taylor when he's fit, we are sort of missing a bit of X factor, and I think Karlan Grant could give that. Standing at 1.83 metres tall is a decent height, and obviously the versatility that I've discussed of all those positions he can play is absolutely magnificent. Now, over the course of his career, he's played for the likes of Cambridge, Crawley, Huddersfield, Cardiff, Charlton and West Brom. Obviously, his longest spell has been at West Brom, where he's made 131 appearances. He has spent time in the Premier League. He made 31 appearances for, I believe it was Huddersfield Town in the Premier League. And it's one of those for me where I'm not against this deal, not in the slightest. I think it would be a really, really good deal for Derby County, and one of which you can do numerous things with. It opens up the doors for many, many different things for Derby County, especially in that forward line. You can play 2 up top, you can go back to your 4-3-3, you can do things like that, and you can even play sort of a 3 of Jerry Yates, Selverson and Karlan Grant as sort of Selverson as the main 9, and then Karlan Grant and Jerry Yates as sort of 9.5, so where they just sit in that little gap behind 10s, some people would say, but obviously a little bit further forward. And I think that would be really, really good. He's got a prolific record in the Championship, and obviously with his contract expiring in 2026, there is a potential that if it goes well and Derby County stay up, we could potentially push for a permanent deal in the summer, which would obviously improve the squad that we've got. Now, when we talk about his versatility, his main positions is that number 9 role or out on the left wing. There are the 2 positions where he seems to feel most comfortable, and that is really what Derby County need. Now, obviously, this season, he's had a fairly decent season for West Brom, but obviously West Brom have changed manager recently, and those things sort of have an effect on playing time and things like that, but it hasn't really had an effect on Karlan Grant. 30 appearances in all competitions, 6 goals, 2 assists, 2 yellow cards, 2,104 minutes in total, and he played, I think, at the weekend, he played 27 minutes off the bench, and his last start was against Middlesbrough on the 21st of January, where he played in centre forward. Now, it's not even as if he's lacked opportunity at West Brom this season. He has played a lot, and that is something which is important for Derby County, because if they can get this deal done, it is literally a drag and drop straight into the team. He'd have an impact straight away, you'd expect. Now, the big major talking point about this will be that replacement for West Brom, because at the end of the day, they have to get replacements in if they're going to sort of push for this deal to happen. Or it's going to have to be a really good offer that they can't really refuse and they can't really turn down. And for me, I think Derby County have got to be smart in their business. We need to get business done today. I spoke earlier today about Harvey Nibbs and Dan Barlaser. Obviously, the Dan Barlaser deal looks less and less likely as the day progresses, but obviously it's one of those which has to be discussed. Because at the end of the day, if Derby County do get that deal done, it would be a really good signing for the midfield to improve the depth, improve the quality, and they're the things that we're looking for. And that is exactly what Karlan Grant brings. It's quality, it's experience, it's passion, it is aggression, it's goal scoring, it's creating chances. Now, the big thing would be that Paul Warne would have to make the most of him. 6 months he'd get, it wouldn't even be 6 months, would it? The season ends in 3 months' time. And he's got, 15, 16 games left to go in the league campaign. And it's going to be hugely important for Derby County to start picking up points and start scoring goals. That's something we've struggled to do over the course of recent weeks. I think we've scored just 3 over the course of the last 7 or 8 games, which is obviously really, really disappointing when you considered we scored 4 was it just before Christmas when we played Pompey? And obviously they've got caveats to that, but I think, to put it bluntly, if we end up with this transfer window replacing James Collins with Karlan Grant, Selverson, then I think we've done a very good job. Now, ultimately, the question mark will then be is, can we get these players performing to a high enough level that we can stay in this division? Now, obviously, if we do look at the division just briefly, I think we're 2 points away from safety at the bottom end of the table. Those clubs around us are making moves, especially Hull City. They've been on an absolute battering when it comes to transfers. They're letting a couple go, they're bringing a couple in. They're going to be in a really good place by the end of this transfer window later on today. But for me, it's a massive, massive decision if we can get this deal done for Karlan Grant, because he is a very good player at this level, and I keep going back to it because it's so, so important that we acknowledge the importance of championship experience and championship quality. Matt Clark was a drag and drop from Middlesbrough to Derby and was probably our best player on the pitch on Saturday. Ultimately, the performance wasn't very good. We didn't create many chances. Sheffield United didn't get out of first or second gear, in my personal opinion. But if we can go and get Karlan Grant and get a deal sorted for him and move him into the Derby County first team at 27 years old and then potentially sign him permanently in the summer, I think we put ourselves in a very, very good position to stay in this division, to keep pushing. And obviously, I've said my piece about Paul Warne. I don't necessarily believe that Paul Warne will be here come the end of the season, and I do think that a lot of the conversation is going to be, will he really want to stay in the summer? That question will remain based on how the fans take to Paul Warne over the course of the next few weeks. But for that to change, he has got to start getting results. He's got to pick up points, because we haven't picked up a single point since Boxing Day, and that is a massive problem for any club in the division, including Derby County. We've seen a fair few managers be sacked over the course of the last 48 hours. Mike Williamson from, was it Carlisle he was at? He's just been sacked today, and it's one of those where there is absolutely no reason for Derby County to not bring in players to at least give Paul Warne the opportunity to turn this form around. Now, obviously, Langas has come in. He will be playing at the weekend, potentially. You've also then got the opportunity to bring in a player as good as Karlan Grant, which I think could be an absolutely phenomenal deal for Derby County. Now, if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, let me know your thoughts on this deal down in the comments, hit the like button as well. I will catch you later on today with any deals that are further coming. Let me know your thoughts on Karlan Grant.